Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more sevens, this time the Singapore Sevens, and it is France versus New Zealand. Now, the French got themselves fourth in the last leg in Cape Town, whereas New Zealand, they finished fifth. So these two sides can be relatively even. The game that's taking place at the moment, though, Australia versus Fiji, and the women's side of things is not that even, 28 points to 7 in favour of the Aussies. So it's kind of looking like a Kiwi-Aussie final could be taking place yet again. But in the men's side of things, it is a lot more open. South Africa currently sitting with the most points out of any side. I believe Argentina in a close second. Have to wait and see what happens in each of these groups. But looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, for the French, it is Liam Delamere, also Zedar, Jordan Sefo, Pauline Riva is the captain for this side. Steven Perez, Martin, Andy Timo, and also Simon Desai, the last man. In the starting side for New Zealand, Fletcher Morgan, Rob Rush, Tony Nashu as the captain, Noah Tippo, Michael Manson, Brady Rush, and Akulia Rokalisoa. Of course, he has got plenty of pace, and there's some really good matchups that take place when France do play New Zealand. Expecting a fast-paced, relatively close game between these two sides. Who cares about New Zealand versus France, says Kiwi Rob. Is there a game that you like more than that, Kiwi Rob, or are you just in a bad mood because the Blues lost their Super Rugby preseason? We have got, hey, says, what's up, guys, live, welcome in. Hope you're doing well, and hey, my bro, hope all is well, says Johnny, doing very well. Excited for the Sevens Day that is taking place. Of course, we've already seen a few matches of the women's side of things taking place. New Zealand having a great win in their contest. A close game to open up the Singapore Sevens as well. So hopefully it's the same for the men's. G'day, Hamish. Happy New Year, mate. Same to you, David the Mod. Hope you are doing extremely well for 2026. Hopefully you've had a bit of a cruisy month. Although I imagine start of the year it's probably been very busy for you as well. How's it, Hamish? Hope you're well and have a power weekend. Says Anthony, yeah, plenty on throughout this weekend. We've got the Sevens, like I've mentioned, and also the URC, two South African derbies that we're going to be covering on the channel. Lions versus Bulls the first, and then Sharks versus Stormers, a rematch of last week's game. That was incredibly close. We have got, so is this a final? It is not. It's actually the opening contest of the men's sevens. So the finals will be taking place tomorrow. The final itself is at about 12:45 a.m. I believe it is New Zealand time on Monday morning, so that'll be a bit of an afternoon game for the guys in South Africa. Currently just the 80 seconds remaining in Australia versus Fiji before the match between France and New Zealand does get underway. Now, following this game straight away, we are covering the game between Australia and Argentina. Close after that one's Fiji versus Great Britain, and then South Africa versus Spain. Close out round one of the men's Singapore Sevens. We've got Lions W and Stormers W. You see, the Stormers, they'll be annoyed because they went from a winning streak to now they're kind of, they're not in their best form at the moment, the Stormers. They looked very beatable in that last game up against the Sharks. So then this is a semi-final? No, not at all. It's the first round of a new leg of the competition. So theoretically, all these sides have to play two more matches after this one before even looking at a semi-final. The URC is boring, too many games. Are you in a bad mood, Kiwi Rob? So far you've had two negative things, whereas normally, I know you're not the most positive guy ever, but you normally have at least like one nice comment about some rugby that's going on. But no, like if you don't like the amount of games in the URC, just watch less of them. Tell you what, that's a bloody brilliant idea, isn't it? If you don't like how many matches take place in a competition, don't watch them all. Watch less games. Perfect problem solving. That's what we've come here for. Are you okay, Kiwi Roses? What's up, guys, live? The siren has just sounded in the Fiji versus Australia game. And it looks like Australia are going to have one last attacking chance. They are winning that game 35 points to 7. Now, I was tempted to cover that game because I was hoping it would be close. I'm kind of glad that I didn't, with the fact that it has finished with a 28-point split between those two sides. But the Aussies once again showing some dominance on the women's circuit. See who wins this game. These two sides are normally pretty close. And honestly, this one could be split by less than 7. If it is a draw at the end of regular time, we go to golden point time. So we'll get to see. Hopefully that happened a couple times throughout Singapore. Australia have just destroyed Fiji. Says David the Mod. Yeah, it wasn't quite the result that the Fijians would have been after. They are now sitting bottom of that group. USA in second, and Japan are sitting there in third. So more than likely the semi-finals are going to be Australia and USA. And then probably, I would say, on the other side of the draw, New Zealand and maybe France, I want to say. Although Canada did actually beat France in the opening round, so probably Canada might sneak their way through. Good morning. How are you, my best friend Amish? Says Mohadine. I'm doing very well. Excited. We've got about 8 hours of live streaming today on the channel across Rugby Union as well as Rugby Sevens. So I don't know how much of a voice I'll have by the end of it, but I'm very excited to see what happens in both the Sevens as well as Rugby Union match. We have got, I don't think Kiwi Rob got much sleep last night. Says, what's up, guys? Yeah, that's all right. I feel like he'll build into it. Normally doesn't mind his sevens, so we just got to get him in a good mood. Maybe if New Zealand win this game, I'll be feeling a lot happier. The Americans managed to win from behind. Says David the Mod, yeah, they did well to beat Japan. And to be fair to the Japanese, they actually did really well in that contest compared to how some people thought that they would go. As their sevens next week, there is. It will be the Perth Sevens taking place. So pretty similar kind of time zone as what we're seeing for these games in Singapore. Which is great news for us here in New Zealand because it doesn't overlap with the Six Nations, or at least it shouldn't. And also we got the Glasgow one yesterday. Yeah, and then on the other, my side has just lost a wicket in our cricket. That's not ideal. They still need another about 90 runs. Not good. But yeah, they actually ended up having a really good win, Glasgow. And then the other game was a draw. So that's good. I like a close game at the moment. I feel like it's the time of the year where any game that's within 7, I'm just happy. But we're just about to kick off for this contest. New Zealand, they are going from right to left in this game, but it is going to be kicked off by the French. We are on the manual scoreboard as well, so bear with me if it is behind at any stage throughout this contest. Now that one's going to be kicked off, nicely slapped back by New Zealand, and then the knock on by Jordan Sefo, which does bring the first scrum of the contest for the Kiwis. And also, Happy New Year, says Johnny Blaze to David the Mod. And why are you watching cricket and rugby at the same time? So I have got the rugby on, but I've got the cricket scoreboard on my phone. Because the side that I normally play for are currently playing. And I'm just keeping an eye on them. France Big W, says Amber Smith with a donation. Thank you very much. So you're going big scoreline in favour of the French. Are you also picking them to make it through to the semi-finals, Anva? Because in this group, there is also Australia and Argentina. So it is not an easy one by any means of a sevens group. That's going to be another penalty going the way of New Zealand, currently on the halfway line. Going back across to the right-hand side. Akulia Roka-Lesoa showing off some of those quick stepping feet. Pops a pass on the outside. Some big boys now in this New Zealand side. They've got a few changes compared to what we are used to seeing in terms of some of the young players making their way up, but Munster missed all the kicks. Says Mohadina, that definitely does not help. Oh, big driving tackle made there on Michael Manson. Manages to get his offload away to Sophie Natoa Tipo. Back across to Rush. Tony Nashu, the captain, out wide, gets through one tackle, offloads on the inside, back to Rob Rush, thought about a big offload, gets through Delamere, fending Jordan Sefo, one more pass to Akulia Roka-Lesoa, and he scores the first try of the contest. Oh, he's not happy either. I think he's done his ankle here. It might have been in the post-contact after scoring. I believe one of the French players has maybe stood on his ankle. He was going to get up and have a bit of a chat to him, but couldn't actually put any weight on that ankle. So that is not good news for the Kiwis if they're to lose Akulia Roka-Lesoa in the very first moments of this game. Ow, yep, unfortunately, it was a mistake. And there was no malice behind it, but one of the French players did stand right on the ankle of Akulia Roka-Lesoa. That kick has also gone over from New Zealand, making the score now 7-0. In their favour. Hamish Bro, my son is 68 kgs now. Another 2 kgs would be good. He's been doing a off-season bulk, not much fitness and cardio and heaps of food. Rugby season on ways. We're excited, says Johnny. I'm sure he's absolutely loving the eating all the food stage of it. I feel like everyone loves a good off-season, don't they? But I think I saw on my Facebook there was, you had a post a little while ago of some sort of training. Another kick missed. He did indeed. Thank you for the correction, Kiwi Rob. We will go back down to 5. It looked pretty good to me, but it must have just missed the upright. Probably from the sore ankle of Akulia Roka-Lesoa, to be fair. But now, it's going to be a penalty going the way of New Zealand again. That is for France being offside. Tony Nashu takes that one quickly, goes off to the right-hand side now in the middle of the field for the Kiwis. Popping it back on the inside. Akulia Roka-Lesoa steps round one, gives it off to Mance. Another step straight into Jordan Sefo. You're looking young. Looking young. Do I normally look old or do I just look younger than I normally do? I don't think I've done anything that differently this week, other than I've been under a floor for a while, poured some concrete, going off to the right-hand side, chance out wide, Manson, stepping back in, gets through 2 French players, but eventually dragged down by Delamere again. Working the breakdown there from France, but the ball coming back on the side of the Kiwis. This is going to be a bit of a fatiguing one here for the French. They have had to defend for multiple minutes on end. Running out of space for Fletcher Morgan. That ball may have been knocked on from New Zealand in the breakdown. Looks like it is going to be play on once more though. Now Tony Nashu, big lobby pass over the top, steep bounce to Manson. Another 2-man tackle by France. That seems to be their tactic at the moment. And now getting 2 men in the breakdown. In fact, they make it 3 and they get themselves the penalty there, France. To now be able to take the quick tap, going off to the right-hand side, passes it across. It's a bouncing, awkward ball, but it spits back up. Now in the hands of the French, breaking through, and it will be the first try of the contest. Dezay manages to score it. And the French take the lead. And that should be a conversion, surely. This one's straight out in front of the posts. Go like that. We'll go like that on the old scoreboard. And hi, Hamish. I hope this year is better for the AB's coaching team. International rugby needs a strong New Zealand team. Says Neil, definitely with the fact that it is getting so close to the Rugby World Cup as well. We are less than 2 years away, which is, it's exciting times. Intriguing to see who actually does well. Riva does get that kick over, and that is going to make the score now 7-5 in favour of the French. And they'll struck in quick succession here. Says, what's up, guys? And when are the bits blocks playing? Says Mohadeen. So they are playing in about an hour and a bit's time, I believe. Their contest is going to be the 4th men's match that we are covering on the channel. So we've still got the game after this, which is Australia-Argentina. Game after that one then is Fiji versus Great Britain, and then it's South Africa versus Spain. The pass went forward, says Kiwi Rob. And we're training shorter explosive power runs and heaps of contact, ball skills, kicking, rugby skills, and not doing any extra running. Broncos, Malcolm's running up the local mountain, etc. Says Johnny Blaze. So it sounds like you're going to have him in tip-top shape by the rugby season. Hopefully he does well. Because I know he got selected for something last year, didn't he? So hopefully he can continue on with that. Going off to the right-hand side now. Ball on the inside to Pauline Riva. Good low tackle by Tony Nashu, the captains. Going head-to-head there, but France now moving it across to the left. Jordan Sefo tackled by Rush. And a bit of a dangerous spot at the moment, though. The Kiwis only defending 15 metres out from their try line. Now becomes out to the 22. Riva once again moves away to the right. Now into the hands of the try scorer, Dezay. And he's going to be tackled well, but another penalty goes against New Zealand. You mate, that's planned, says Johnny. Do the All Blacks have a coach? Not at the moment, but they should soon, I believe. Right, since this live stream has started, my team have lost 2 wickets, and they are only on half the runs at the moment. So it could be quite a challenging one from here on out. Going off to the left-hand side, though, for the Kiwis. They might be down at half-time by even more. Yes, they are. The try is scored by Zedar. That should be a nice, easy conversion again. The Kiwis trailing by 9. This kick goes over. It's the last thing that they would have been wanting after striking first, getting the early try. It isn't really working out for them now, the Kiwis. They'll need some big moments in the near future because, like I mentioned, this is such a tough group. You've got France, you've got Australia, and you've got Argentina alongside New Zealand. Peter Steph Toy, New Zealand version loading, says Johnny Blaze. Would be very handy. We could use him for the next World Cup, although I think he'll still be a little bit young. Maybe the one after that. 2031 might be the goal. Now New Zealand down 14 points to 5 at halftime. Well, I heard because they've got a new coach, the All Blacks might become better again. That's what everyone's hoping. Whether or not it actually happens, though, could be a different story. But there's still hope. That's about all you can have a couple of years out from a World Cup. That and optimism. But pretty tough South African tour coming up for whoever takes over that role. Also, you've got the July internationals, which should be, I don't want to say easy for the Kiwis, but it should be a bit easier than then that South African tour, because they're going to be playing an experimental French side, the Italians, and then one other game in July who I can't quite think of off the top of my head. How's Peter now? Peter Steph-Toy, I think has he had his surgery or is he still waiting for it? I know that he's out for the whole season, unfortunately, for Peter Steph-Toy, which means he won't actually be taking part up against the Kiwis while it's halftime. That was quick. It always is in sevens. Like, the 7 minutes just absolutely flies by because this is the first of 4 games, but it's just going to keep on going. You can tackle me now when we play. I run at straights. I'll run at 80, 90% and get shoulder into in leg lift and takes me to the ground. It's getting sore now. Soon it'll be too tough and Dad will get smoked. Says Johnny Blaze. You're going to have to start putting down one of those crash pads to try and protect the back a little bit. Because, I mean, the professionals use it and I feel like that probably justifies why you should as well. Even if it's like a mattress, just put that down underneath. Please start singing, Hamish. I don't think you really want to hear that. You may think that you want to hear it, but when you actually hear it, you will regret asking. And a bit of an easy French try. Yeah, that last one came at a terrible time for New Zealand. Zedara managing to score it, but now second half gets underway. Kiwis going up for the high ball. A penalty goes the way of France. That was due to the aerial challenge from Fletcher Morgan. Lockie Ferguson is going to be a tank. I hope so, and I hope it's for more than one game. Because that man knows how to get injured better than pretty much any other New Zealand cricketer at the moment. So if he can stay fit and healthy, it'll be brilliant news for the Black Caps. I think this will be the shortest live stream ever. No, we've had shorter. I think I've had a live stream that was about 15 seconds when I started the wrong stream. I had to end it and then go on to the right one. But yeah, it's only going to be about a 20, 25-minute kind of stream, and that's the same as the other matches taking place a bit later on. Now, ball going across field for the French, big wide cutout pass. They just look quite dangerous on attack at the moment, all on the same page, this French unit. New Zealand 2 men in the breakdown though, and they will win themselves the turnover. South Africa cricket won yesterday. Oh, there's a yellow card coming for Andy Timo. Did not give the ball back to New Zealand. And that is going to be a bit of a brutal error from this French side as it now gives New Zealand an opportunity to have a man advantage for the next 2 minutes. Yes, brother, that's what we have. We use massive mattress in the lounge. My wife got mad, said it makes our house look ugly. And here we are doing contact training on the mattress. I mean, it may not make the house look the prettiest, but it's better surely than you just crashing onto the floor time and time again and eventually, like, probably going through the... Well, it depends if you're doing it on carpet or whether you're doing it on some sort of hard flooring. But either way, it's not going to be nice on the body. You'd have to think after a while. Lockie Ferguson will eat the South African cricket players for dinner. Says Peps Wox. I just hope he's not injured. That's the big thing for me. If he can avoid injury throughout the whole T20 World Cup competition, it's good. Finn Allen was crazy in the BBL final, bro. Beated Mitchell Stark in the final. Says Peps Wox. Yeah, I saw that he had the most runs for any Perth Scorcher player ever in a BBL season, which is, I mean, it's the best form that you can possibly ask for. Outside on our land, we use 2 XXL dog beds as landing, 2 tackle sessions on. So at least you've thought of that. I know some people who just go time and time again on the grass and then eventually go, why is my back so sore? Now trying to cut back inwards for the Kiwis. Got a lot of hard work to do throughout the next 5.5 minutes if they want to go on to win this game up against the French. Doninia Shu goes away to the left. 22 metres out from the try line. Now out wide. This is going to be a great chance for Manson. He has his legs cut out from underneath him by the French defence. They managed to get the turnover and penalty in there as well. First man in there. I think that's going to be Manson, called for not releasing. He doesn't seem too happy about it, but there's no point trying to argue with the referee in a game of sevens. All you're going to do is get yourself marched back 10. I think you are desperate now for the Black Cats to win the World Cup. I don't know. It would be nice. Don't get me wrong. It would be great, but I also, because of the time zones of when those games are taking place, I don't think I'm going to be able to follow it as closely as I want to. Like, I'd love to be able to do the watch-alongs for all the Black Caps games. Yeah, that didn't look like much of a wrap attempt there from the French player when they showed the replay. Looks like he led with his head straight into the knee of the New Zealand player. How's your mum and dad? They're both doing well. I think mum might be watching a bit of the sevens. Now Stephen Perez-Martin goes across to the left-hand side. Ball dropped by Pauline Reva. They're under pressure again here though, France. Oh, loose ball. Actually ended up bouncing off the head of Zadar to his teammate. Who starts along with Finn Allen, Devon Conway, and Tim Seifert. So it's who you put at 4. I mean, Phillips probably can fill that role, to be fair. He's been batting relatively high up, wasn't it? This is what pisses me off. How are you supposed to roll away when a player is on top of you? Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, and it does depend on the referee, as depending on whether or not you get penalised for it. Certain referees go, no, he can't go anywhere, so just use the ball. Although, doesn't happen as often in sevens. Normally, it's just straight away penalty. They like to keep it moving. Looks like 3 changes about to be made, one of which is Andy Timo back out on the field. New Zealand not being able to make the most of that man advantage. Did the Blues win yesterday? They didn't. 44 points to 36 in what was a pretty close game between the two sides. One second, we'll go like that. We'll go like that as well. Whereas John, I want to time out again, says Padson. I don't think you need to do that. But now going off to the left. Low tackle made. And now trying to get straight on the ball for New Zealand. That was lightning quick in the breakdown from, I want to say it was the man off the bench, Vainuku. Now going across to the left, New Zealand. They are still down by 9 points. The scoreboard has not ticked over throughout the second half. Now right again. Trying to step through for Vainuku. He bumps off one. Although 2 men in the tackle there for France. They win another not releasing penalty. Tell you what, they've been on fire in that department throughout this game, France. I want to say that's about their 5th penalty that they've been able to win here. Now kicking it towards the touchline. That is a very nice kick from Pauline Riva. 3 minutes remaining. Time has been turned off. The fatigue is very much setting in for these two sides. Sevens is back, but my enthusiasm has gone. Is that because of the fact that there's only 8 teams on the circuit now, Cats and L? Or are you all rugbyed out for now? 9 off 4 says Kiwi Rob. 9 off 4. Oh, for the place. You had me stumped big time there for a second. I thought you were doing some sort of like analytical work when it came to this New Zealand versus France match, and that tell you what, that's going to be the try that should, well, I don't know. Was it double movement? They've said no, it wasn't, and it will be the try to France. He was doing roly-polies all over the place towards the try line, and that might just about do it in this contest. I'm not sure whether they'll look at that again. Initially, he did fall over and he wasn't held, so you are allowed to go again. Then he just kept on roly-polying all the way home to that try line. Rolling, not held. Was just about held there and managed to just get that ball down. It was very nicely done by Nelson Epe off of the bench. Do you think Blitzbox Sevens will win against Spain? They should. But Spain are a hard team to know what they're actually going to do. They have been in finals before. I think last year it might have been Singapore final of Fiji versus Spain, if I remember rightly. This is not even fair, says what's up, guys. But now, kicking this one off. Also, do keep me updated, Kiwi Rob, in terms of what happens on those last 4 balls. Maybe not ball by ball if you don't want to, but like just what happens for the end result. Going off to the left-hand side, another low tackle made on the Kiwis. They are currently 19 points to 5 down. Not a lot of time remaining, so now it's all about trying to work their way towards being back within 7. I believe bonus points are still a thing. And the competition, good low chopping tackle on rush. The Kiwis, they did score first. But the French from there, 2 off 2. Did they hit a 6 and a single or something in that case? Now, looking for a steal again. Not able to get it. Roka Lasoa passes across to Vainuku. France putting them under pressure, but no clear release that time in the tackle attempt. Quick tap taken by, it looks like Scott Gregory. He's had a bit of an interesting kind of few months, Scott Gregory, or you could say the past year. He was at the Highlanders. He has been playing somewhere overseas. I can't remember which side it was. New Zealand are being put to the sword. Did your team lose, Hamish? Says Mohadeen. They're currently 7 down for 78 runs. They got 15 overs remaining. They need 143 to win. But now, big run forward here for the Kiwis. I'll keep you updated throughout the next 2 games in terms of what's happening. But yeah, they're going to have to do a little bit of work. They do want to get the win, but that is nicely done. Tell you what, they might have time here, the Kiwis. Regan Ware has just kicked that one over, and they have scored just in the nick of time, which is actually going to give them a potential chance of drawing in this game. Would they deserve it? Probably not. They have been, I would say, the worst side out there on the field out of the 2 teams, but there's still time in this case. That's a bit of a weird way for the scoreboard to sit, and a very confusing one at that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like that. We're going to go like that. There we go. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? But now New Zealand, they are kicking this one off. They do have to try and retain this ball. Going up for it. Bounces back, but it's knocked on by Frank Vainuku. Run into touch by the French, and that will be the end of the game. 19 points to 12, and it's the early win for the French in this competition. That is a big win and a crucial one. Blaze win by 5 wickets. See his Kiwi Rob there. And oh wait, they scored, yeah, right at the end. We did see the try being scored by Regan Ware. And when it's Argentina playing, I want to go back to sleep. They are playing next up against Australia. We are going over to that live stream now, so be sure to tune in for it. We will see you all in about a minute's time for that next stream.